in a lane.
Yeah, we definitely haven't seen the big, like, slow farming 100 CS lead Flame that we saw a year ago. Things have changed quite a bit for him, and he's still adjusting a bit. So there's a final ban. It's going to be Kassadin.
Yeah, I really think that Blaze is at their best when they have an early game champion on Flame and they use him and Daydream to play a more up-tempo style, which we saw very early on in this season, but not so much after that. Kassadin taken out as well. A bit surprising. Blaze has picked a new Kassadin in their more recent matches.
That's going to allow a LeBlanc pick to go through for Pawn, though, which is very dangerous. Now, will we maybe see a Jace? I mean, we've seen it hovered over it a lot. The tier was buffed a while ago now, and we've talked about seeing this Jace a little bit more often. We saw it once. I believe it was in Masters, right?
Yeah, it was not. It was played by Ozone. It was not in the most serious of games. Dandy was playing top Rumble in that game. They had switched up their roster. Because Looper was sick that day, so they had to play Dandy up in the top lane, and they played one of their AD carry subs in the jungle position.
Yeah.
It was a little weird.
Sketch, I believe his name was, right. So will we see that Jace picked up, though? Of course, a while ago. Again, you know, we're talking about a lot about the past today. Jace was very, very big, but that Rumble pickup wouldn't be bad. He's been buffed so much. The Mundo pickup a takeaway from Looper, obviously, but Renekton is a great choice for Flame. Talking about a champion that gets things done early, that's it, and that Twitch pick so strong. And Emperor definitely one of the standout Twitch players in Korea these days.
Yeah, I mean, he's been more focused on Jinx and Lucian as of late, so we'll have to see how he plays it, though. Definitely a takeaway from Imp. And I'm so happy to see the Renekton pickup for Flame. I really think that having these very strong early game champions is great for him. The Rumble may be coming out. Now, we haven't seen a lot of Rumble from Looper, but Rumble is so strong right now.
Yeah, and Rumble Nami, Rumble Leona, these are both combos that can work quite well in team fights in terms of locking people down and making them spend a lot of time on that equalizer. But looks like they're going to go for the jungle Kha'Zix pick along with that Leona.
I like the Kha'Zix pickup here. This is, of course, Dandy. He can play a lot of things, generally preferring Elise, but this is mostly targeted at Daydream, and Kha'Zix has been his #1 go-to jungler. So there's a lot of actual counter picks going on here that are not normal champions for these players. The Twitch for Emperor, not really his normal style. The Kha'Zix for Dandy usually prefers Lee Sin, but the Evelyn may come in here. Well, the Lee Sin now coming in for Daydream, and there is a Vayne for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, Imp, of course. Imp on Vayne is a pretty legendary player-champion combo, but in this meta hasn't been quite as strong. Of course, Looper playing Mundo, no big shock there at all. Will he switch over to the teleport? That's the question, I think.
Well, Vayne and Twitch play very similarly these days in that you want to create solo outplays and make picks with these champions.
Yeah.
And they're not so focused on sieging down turrets. You basically want to play very far forward and try and get kills and kind of ignore farm, actually, a lot of the time. Orianna going to be the final pick here.
Yeah. Well, just a good zoning mid laner to work against LeBlanc, so...
Yeah, you need that command protect too, just to survive the laning phase.
Yeah, not a big shock there.
Now, the problem with Samsung Ozone's composition is there is a lot of scaling that needs to happen between LeBlanc, Vayne, and Mundo.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really critical that Dandy puts on a lot of jungle pressure early with Kha'Zix, because if they start falling behind, they're going to have a really hard time recovering gracefully into the mid and late game.
You know, we talked so much about Dandy being the consummate counter jungler here in Korea, but this game I think is really going to be a lot about Daydream counter jungling Dandy when he's trying to make those early plays.
Yeah, we'll see what... Yeah, counter ganking. We'll see how Dandy plays it. If he takes up residence in Daydream's jungle and forces Daydream, kind of chunks him out of his own jungle and forces him back and away from the lanes, they may be able to do okay. The real danger here is that Flame and Daydream want to shut down Looper early, and that will create a very difficult situation. Ambition isn't going to need much help in the mid lane as long as he can just play safely, use that command protect. Twitch will have the advantage early. So we'll see if any lane swaps come in, but there's going to be a big crosshair painted on Looper's back.
Yep, as usual. I mean, people do like to abuse him from time to time. He is a great teleport player, but he does tend to tunnel on those champions like Mundo that can get shut down kind of early. So, you know, will we see it happen? The game is loading. And of course, a big match here, a match for points. Vital circuit points help one of these teams potentially get to Worlds later this year, which they don't have to go too far. It's going to be in Korea, but still, you want to get there. You want to get in the venue. That's the key. And also the grudge match, the rivalry, the revenge in Blaze's case for last season's Champion Spring Finals, and Ozone wanting to maintain that winning record, I guess, against this team. So, will we see it happen? The game is all loaded up. Ozone versus Blade. Blaze, rather. Not Blade. He's off hunting vampires, I'm pretty sure. Let's get in the game. Hey, we're back. Well, to pick that one up, and I'm glad you did. Thank you.
It's pretty funny.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. The third place match. Set 1. Ozone versus Blaze. Not played. And already an early invade.
Mata has started boots. This is the first time I have seen a boot start on support.
It's been a long time, man. Long time.
So, I mean, almost certainly this indicates some sort of lane swap. So they're going to go ahead and place a deep ward in. This is pretty typical of the Samsung teams. Mata's been normally starting full ward starts. This is really weird.
Well, I'm wondering, do you think maybe he's going to do a little bit of roaming and try to help Dandy make those early plays? I think they need to.
He must be trying to make lane swap and then make a play on the lanes. That's the only thing that makes sense. Going to go back in, but full ward start this time from Lust Boy, so they're going to get some really nice deep wards in of their own.
Indeed. It's really deep.
That's a very interesting position for a ward. Early pink ward right by the red buff as well.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of that positioning and that brush. You usually want to put it a little bit more to the right so you can see around the corner a little bit better.
Yeah, it's
kind of in the middle of the brush is a really awkward placement for that, but it's still going to be useful and not something that is likely to be checked early on.
Definitely. Well, check out Twitch and his new legs. Well, looks like Samsung can't. They don't have vision. Oh, just barely catching him as they come, so they do spot that 2v1.
Yeah, they surmised, however, that ward was deep in that brush.
Yeah.
Or deep in the lane, but it's in a dark spot, so you can never be 100% sure. Can be fake. Right. Mata is going into... This is a very weird level 1. But they're very concerned about the lane swap right now, so Mata just going to run across the map. Ooh, taking the long way around. He may actually see that pink ward early, which would be huge.
I think he's going to. He's walking right into it, and look at the mini-map. He doesn't stop. He must not have seen it.
Well, he may have just told his jungler. If they know it's there, it's easy to clear out. And he may want to get to lane because they want to start getting experience for level 2. We'll see if he saw it. No pings, though, so it does seem that he probably missed it.
Well, sometimes, you know, you're walking through a little bit of damage on ambition already. You're walking through and you're trying to get to lane. You're looking at the other lanes, seeing how they're matching up early on, and you'll miss things like that.
So since we had this rather odd lane swap situation where they swapped out of top lane and walked all the way across the map, we do have the junglers on the opposite side of the map from what we would normally see. So this may be more of a hold situation. Could be a 4v2. I really am interested in seeing how Blaze plays this out. Blaze is on the top side of the map right now.
Well, any sort of hold situation seems like it'd be good for Blaze because they kind of lock up Dandy a little bit and don't allow him the chance to roam and make plays.
Yeah, still really dangerous too for Samsung.
Oh, double ward, man. That hurts. At least it was a trinket. But they're going to go in onto Ambition, and Ambition gives up first blood. Who knew? Dandy gets that one, and that's a play. First play made.
Well, if they can get the tower, though, it's going to be okay. It's still maybe a rough trade. They're going for a very early dragon.
It was a really tricky gank, too. I mean, you can't blame Ambition too much for being surprised by that one. I think anybody would have been.
Yeah, also, they used Flash from Kha'Zix, Flash and Ignite from Pawn, so there's a counterplay possible on the mid lane now just due to summoner cooldowns.
Yep, no Ambition.
So as long as Daydream can come back and capitalize on it, it should be okay.
Right. Well, they'll get the dragon too, so that means about a 1.5K gold lead early on for Samsung. But, you know, can they turn that into a bigger snowball as the game goes on? That's the question. 2 rings for both of our mid laners.
Yeah, good aggressive play, though, to try and shut this down early. Imp still just hanging back right here. And looks like...
There goes the top turret. Soonish.
Dandy and Looper have really just been doing a great job of jungling together, both hitting level 3 at the same time. Flame, level 2, he has been in lane, but he's coming back down into bottom right now. He's got to be very careful about that Vayne.
Yeah.
And look at that, now we see the pings going down. Pink ward is finally cleared out by Mata, he finds it.
Yep. And so, Imp just farming up. Even CS between the both carriers right now. Both of the carriers rather. And we'll see how this all kind of shakes out, because it was a good initial play, but they need to keep the pressure going. They need to continue to make plays.
Yeah, and they did get the top tower, and they did get it pushing back the other direction.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty advantageous position for Blaze. They may be behind in gold, but not a lot of damage down onto that bottom turret. So this is recoverable for sure, and they're definitely that timing window in the mid lane with all those summoners being down to take advantage of.
What do you think about Flame's situation here? I mean, he's in that positive matchup with Renekton, but he's a level down. I mean, it doesn't look like, he didn't do golems or anything, so he's still starting out a level down against Looper in the 1v1. Oh, now he just hit level 3. Okay, so he was actually really close, so never mind. Even levels now.
Yeah, they got him back up into the top lane, however. Dandy coming through.
Oh, they found the ward. Yep.
We'll clear out the pink ward.
Yep. And Daydream thinking about coming up as well, but since Flame knows about it, no real need for him to be up there. Just going to find a ward himself to clear out. Oh, but
so it is a bit interesting.
Oh, Dandy jumping on him as well. Command Protect, though, is going to help keep him safe.
It is interesting that Ambition decided to take Ignite this game. He was kind of forced to because of the Mundo pick. They wanted to get a few Ignites down in order to deal with that. But usually Orianna taking that heal in the mid lane for a little bit more survivability. He may have been able to get out of that gank had he had it.
It's a good point. I mean, it's not just the heal. It gives you that nice little speed boost too, which being that close to turret may be the difference between life and death. But as is, you know, Ambition giving up first blood, not the biggest deal. We've seen it many, many times. Not exactly anything new.
Many Blaze wins have started with Ambition's first blood.
Oh yeah. It's almost like they just give that to the other team to make it even, you know? They're like, we're so good, we're just gonna feed you our mid laner.
So look at this. Dandy has used a lot of that first blood gold to get some good deep wards in and chunk Daydream out. So we talked a little bit about this at Champion Select, but if he really wants to buy some time for scaling, so he's playing around the mid lane very well, and they've got great eyes on Daydream. And if you just look at the items, it's pretty similar in terms of itemization, just the boots up for Dandy, but he's turned that into a lot of wards early. And it's been pretty successful. They're going to know about that red buff right there, and Dandy will probably just make a play into the counter jungle on blue side right now.
Yep, well, playing like Dandy often does, and now he's coming down to bot lane. He will be spotted by a ward, though, so Lustboy and Emperor should be backing up, but have they waited a little bit too long? Mata, not quite close enough for that Zenith Blade, it looks like. So no catch with the E that time. Oh, but Dandy's still coming in. I'm watching the mini-map right now, because I want action. I want fighting. That's what it's all about in the bot lane.
He's not going to get much of it. Mata has caught up in levels at this point. Flame slow pushing the top wave, trying to deny Looper as much as possible.
Yep. Oh, there's Zen Blade onto Lustboy. Lustboy, oh, nice Aqua Prison onto Imp. Really helping out a lot. Now Emperor with the turn, doing a decent amount of damage to Mata. They do have to back up, but what great presence of mind by Lustboy to get the Aqua Prison down in the AD carry after getting caught himself. That could have ended up much worse.
Okay, well, looks like we're going to see a lot of pressure onto the blue buff right here. Flame moving into the enemy jungle. Great play. Yep. So Ambition and Flame use that wave clear in their early aggression just to go ahead and take that out. Nada now coming up.
Yeah, he is. They're fighting over the blue buff here. The blue buff does go to Daydream. Quan coming over the wall. A little bit of damage onto Flame. They lock him down with the chains. Dandy zoned out by the ball, and it looks like CJ will escape, but low health. This could give a little bit of lane opportunities for Samsung.
We've talked about how Blaze really needs to play a more aggressive style of game, and I really love what we're seeing from them right here, where they push the lanes very actively. Their timing is great to get that second blue buff, go ahead and take it away from Pawn. They're now moving over.
Yeah, here we go.
Of course, they should be expecting this, but it's a bit of a dangerous situation. Imp now coming up to the blue buff as well, and Flame just running down here. Of course, teleport is up for Looper.
It's like a dragon fight over the blue buff. And there's a shockwave. They bring in Dandy with it. Where'd the blue buff go? It did go to Dandy, but we have Emperor closing in. He's stealth. They're going to try to take out Dandy. There's the spray and pray. Immediately, Mata jumps in but gets kicked away. He's going to go down, well, nearly go down very quickly. Lustboy low as well. Pawn getting focused a little bit. Ambition joins the fight. Imp trying to stay on the outside, dodges the Aqua Prison. Daydream coming over the wall. He can't quite finish off Dandy. Now Looper on his own pops his ultimate. Daydream getting lower and lower, but they do get the kill onto Looper. Samsung low though. Pawn gets taken down by Ambition. A little bit of revenge in the mid lane, and now Imp in trouble, has to flash. He gets away though, and so at the end of the day, CJ comes out ahead with those 2 kills. Dandy does escape with the blue buff, though.
Now they're going to lose a lot of farm in the top lane. Looper did a good job of pushing the wave forward.
Yeah.
So he will deny a lot of XP from Flame right here. He's trying to get up there, not going to make it. Probably would have had his time better spent pushing the bottom lane, actually. Just because he's not going to get there anyway before the waves dissolve. But they're not going to go after the tower, and they're just going to back. I think that's a little bit of a misplay from Blaze. I think they could have pushed that advantage just a little bit harder. Dragon back up now as well.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to see it come back up this early, but it was such an early Dragon from Samsung Ozone.
About a 4-minute Dragon, so.
Pretty insane.
Now, this is a potentially a big moment right here. We'll see how Flame plays this. With the teleport down, he will have a chance to set this up and try and rotate down into the river for the Dragon play after he gets the ward, or the wave pushing, slow pushing up here.
Yeah. Well, this game's going good so far, in my opinion. Plenty of action. And here, speaking of action, they're going to go in on Ambition in the mid lane. Dandy with his ultimate. Ambition nowhere to go, and he's going to get taken out. There's a kill for Pawn. Oh, man.
They hit a timing window right before his shockwave came back up, too.
Yeah.
That was really good by Samsung Ozone.
Got to keep track of those ults.
And with that death, basically that's going to be a Dragon here for Ozone. They've got the pressure down in the bottom lane. And that was a pretty significant death. Ambition getting caught out there like that will result in an objective taken for Samsung.
Yeah, second Dragon of the game for them. I'm feeling extra bloodthirsty today because I've been playing a lot of Braum. I've had to shave off like 6 mustaches so far. Every game, I just grow one. I can't help it.
It's true. His manliness just rubs off on you.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the girls who play him.
That's true, yeah. They may not be quite as prepared to shave their face as us guys are, it's true. You never know, though. I mean, who knows? Bottom line is watch out. Braum will make you grow a mustache. It's true.
Flame here, he's actually going tanky this game. He's not that far ahead on CS. And of course, with the changes to Renekton, he does scale slightly better into the late game these days, so you have a little bit more flexibility without going all in on early aggression with something like a Tiamat. Yeah. Now they're going to push the mid lane.
Well, they need to get something going, and this would be their second turret, so a little bit of more map presence, but Pawn coming in for a bit of poking and takes out the minion, so that's going to be that.
Yeah, I really think that Blaze, they could have played much more aggressively on the bottom tier 1 and the Dragon instead of sending Flame back top for a wave that he wasn't going to get anyway. Lustboy and Daydream setting up behind the red buff.
Dandy. Mata's there as well. Zenith played on the Lustboy with the tidal wave. Lustboy, no operated. Yikes. Insta-gibbed.
Yeah, they didn't have any wards deeper into the jungle. They were thinking about setting up for a possible red steal, but without the vision, they couldn't see that there were 4 people there just waiting for them.
Yeah.
Flame starting to freeze the lane in the top.
Yeah, feeling right at home.
This is, I don't know how well this is going to turn out for him, honestly.
Well, he needs more than just farm at this point. I mean, even with the later game buffs that Renekton got, you still need to have a pretty good early game on that champ.
And he's going full Flame here, though.
Yeah, he is.
Not pushing, going to go ahead and freeze that up pretty close. It's going to force Looper out into a more aggressive stance on the map, however.
I feel like when Flame goes to bed at night, he tucks himself into the blanket that just has the word mechanics embroidered on it about 1,000 times.
I must carry.
I must carry. Only plays Farmville when he goes onto Facebook.
Looper coming back up into the top lane. They've got some good wards there, so they will be able to keep Looper relatively safe. You can see Mata and Dandy also showing up, getting the pink ward in. They know they haven't been seen, and this is going to be a dive.
Yes, it will, but we do have 2 members of CJ Blaze coming up as well. Daydream and Lustboy coming in to dive onto Flame. There's the solar flare. Flame's going to get out of it, though. Here comes Daydream and Lustboy. Will they be able to turn this one around? It looks like they will chase off Samsung, though.
Fantastic flash from Flame. He just dodged the solar flare really nicely at the last second.
He almost certainly would have died if that would have connected with the stun.
That's the thing about Flame, though, is he is probably the most difficult top laner to dive. He seems to always know the proper direction to flash. He's very slippery into those turrets. And
mechanics.
We've seen exactly. We've seen him really turn a lot of these dives around, sometimes picking up 1 or 2 kills instead.
Yep. True enough.
So Emperor having a bit of a rough time. He hasn't gone back and finished his blade yet. Imp already having that item, making it very difficult for Twitch to duel with the Vayne right now. But no pink ward on Vayne. Probably it's something Imp is going to want to be carrying around, considering actually both of them really.
Well, they need to be able to spot Emperor when he stealths, so it's kind of...
they need to spot Imp during his ult as well. So a lot of these duels may come down to who actually has the pink ward.
It's a good point. You know, part of that is getting that sweeping lens and upgrading that as well, too, and making sure you have the vision available for that, too.
Usually not something we see on the AD carry, but if a support is there, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and find a pink ward, take it out right now, and Ambition trying to punish him a little bit for that one, but it's not going to bite. Daydream also there over the wall, just refreshing the ward in that brush.
Yep. And so far, it's still a fairly close game overall, but
Ozone just has a lot more information is the thing. Is Dandy's been doing a great job. Dandy and Mata have been doing a great job of roaming through the enemy jungle, making sure they get some good deep wards down. And that's allowing them to play a little bit more aggressively. Blue buff respawning, going over to Pawn. No play on it this time from CJ Blaze.
Nope, kind of past the time where you see a lot of that. Their blue buff should be up soon anyway. Mata coming in just to make sure those minions don't get to the turret. Feed Pawn a little bit more CS. And meanwhile, will we see a plan to the bot lane turret? It looks like they do want to do some damage to it.
Okay, I like what we're seeing here. They're moving Imp up into the top lane. Remember we talked about how you really have to make picks. This is how you have to play Vayne and Twitch, is you don't want to be farming. You want to play very far forward, very aggressively. Try and pick up a kill, work with the rest of your team to take a turret with her and let somebody else with better wave clear go ahead and farm it up and create that pressure. And that's what we're seeing right there. Looper and Imp working in tandem now in order to get that down. Emperor still firing away here in the bottom lane. LeBlanc and Kha'Zix maybe making a move, but they're going to think better of it, and they may initiate here.
Yeah, we'll see. Thinking about going in. Ambition nearly connects to Dandy with that command attack, rather. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Samsung did get that one. Their first tower of the game.
Lustboy and Daydream.
Ooh, it needs to be really careful here. There goes the turret. Dodges the Aqua Prison.
They did a great job of creating a zone where nobody from Ozone could go.
Whoa, Daydream gets out. Pawn chasing a little bit. Dragon is going to be up right now, too. They get the flash out of Daydream at the end there.
Emperor's invisible. He's getting back into lane, not going to be seen. Ozone trying to get some control over the Dragon Pit right now. Flame on his way down.
And Ozone going for the third Dragon this game. We do have Lustboy right there, though. Will we see him come in for the Solar Flare? Oh, Lustboy getting a bit low. Needs to be careful about Pawn. Here comes the teleport, though. Looper coming in. They really want this Dragon. They try to jump onto Emperor, but Mata misses that Zenith Blade. Tidal Wave comes through and hits nobody. There's a Solar Flare, though. A 3-man Solar Flare. Pawn does some nice damage with the AoE back out. Oh, a huge shockwave, though, from Ambition, and CJ turns it around. So many low health members. Looper goes down. A victim in Imp. Backs off, looks like they're trying to take him out with Daydream, can't quite get him now. Imp chasing, Daydream has to safeguard away. Pawn is right there, and he's not gonna get away with the clone Ambition, because he's right through it. Mata trying to escape now, will he be able to get away from Emperor? No. And CJ really turns that one around. Imp in big trouble, he's stuck between sort of a rat fish and a ball place. I don't know how you say that really, but.
That was a really bad engage from Samsung Ozone right there. They basically, Ozone had every advantage. Flame was late on his rotation. He hadn't come in yet. Now look at this.
Great Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave splits him up, right? But you can still back off. They see the 3-man Solar Flare, but the big mistake they make right here is that everybody backs off, and then they all stack up for this big shockwave, and the spray and pray, even through the exhaust, is doing a tremendous amount of damage from the back line.
Man.
So you can't move into a choke point like that against Orianna and Twitch. You can have a fantastic engage like we saw with that Solar Flare, but if you can't immediately follow it up with damage, which they couldn't, you don't fight into a kiting Twitch and Orianna.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anytime you get into that narrow corridor, you're going to have a bad time.
You are indeed.
Yep. And now CJ Blaze really putting a lot of pressure onto this mid lane. The turret already at less than half health. Pawn able to take out those minions really fast, though.
Yeah, Ozone They just have to remember their win conditions in this game. They want to just outscale this. So the fact that they could pick up that dragon because Flame was late and they used the teleport in advance in order to just have Looper zone it out, they can sacrifice Looper for that. That's not really a problem if they lose one, and as long as they can hold their turrets. But really following up on that engage, I think, was overly ambitious.
Well, CJ Blaze is basically just the zombie apocalypse player now. Whoa, and Emperor gets jumped on. There we go, a little bit of damage onto him. Nice Aqua Prison, though. They do get one kill onto Mata. Emperor gets taken down despite the spray and pray. And Samsung all over CJ. Look at that. That Solar Flare set off a huge engage. Daydream in trouble. Can Dandy chase a double kill in the meantime for Imp? And they're trying to make the ace. Dandy, oh, the Void Spikes barely doesn't hit. I was going to say, CJ's like the zombie invasion. All Samsung Ozone needs to do is survive, but I guess they went on the offensive.
That is a classic reason why Twitch is so bad at sieging.
Yep.
It was all too easy for Mata to get the engage onto him and melt him nearly immediately.
Yeah.
He actually lived for a surprisingly long time over the course of that engagement, but the single target burst from this team with LeBlanc and Vayne and Kha'Zix is absolutely massive.
Right.
Now look at this. This is just so greedy. He uses his ambush to get in onto the turret. That is a terrible use of ambush. Like that, you never do that with Twitch. And that's something that we're seeing right here. I think shows how Emperor is really not used to playing a champion like this. When we talk about Emperor, you usually think Lucian, Caitlyn, Jinx, these champions that are very good at sieging turrets. In this case, using your ambush to go in and making yourself immobile is one of the worst things you could do, but Mata did a great job of pulling the trigger.
Oh, we've got
taking
more
advantage
action
of
already. There's Aqua Prison. They're going to go in, and Emperor gets caught by Emperor on the outside. They do take out Mata very early. Everyone extremely grouped up right now. Looper getting in there with the AoE. It's getting scary, and Dandy coming in. There's a kill for Looper. Dandy comes in to try to get the reset. Another kill for Imp as well. There's Dandy with another. He's got the double. Wants to make it a triple, but he has too little health. Imp coming in Ambition. Oh, gets taken out. Imp takes out, or Imp is taken out by Ambition. It's been a while, guys, but it's still an ace in favor of Samsung Ozone. Low health, but they made it work. And once again, CJ getting a little bit too eager and getting caught.
Yeah, we'll have to see how exactly the setup to that worked right there, because we were in the replay, so we'll check out the replay in just a second. But very good follow-up, and the mobility, too, between Kha'Zix resets and LeBlanc is terrifying. And, of course, the passive from Vayne is absolutely terrifying. So if you start running, the odds of you actually getting out of that fight if you're CJ Blaze are pretty much zero. So they have to be more prepared to stand and deliver in these situations. And I think they just have to, if they get engaged on, they just have to fight it to the bitter end instead of trying to run away.
Yep.
It's not really going to work for them. They're never going to escape.
Well, that certainly has kind of been the case so far here. Now, Blaze on the back foot. Samsung Ozone doing more than surviving this game, they're thriving.
Yeah, a lot of kills this game, nearly a kill a minute so far. It's been a lot of team fighting and really fun to see, but
I don't mind.
You know, CJ Blaze has to play aggressively. They know the issue is scaling right here, and Samsung Ozone has been all too willing to meet them in some of these more open areas in order to pick up some kills.
When I look at Twitch's new portrait, it kind of looks like he's falling or something like that, falling through the air. Ooh, Pawn gets a bit caught by Emperor. They're going to try to jump on, though. Emperor does manage to get the kill, but will he pay for it? Dandy trying to get some revenge, but now they've got the catch on him. He gets over the wall, and he will make it out. Nice pick by Emperor. Again, oh, never mind. Daydream coming in, helping Ambition pick that one up. Good pick, though, before that by Emperor, though. Using the ambush and the spray and pray.
Yeah, that's how you want to play the Twitch. You get the pick first, and then you go onto the tower afterwards. I think they really learned a lot out of that earlier situation, and they're pushing it forward right now. It's been a back-and-forth game. We still only have about a 2K gold deficit.
Yeah, it's still pretty close.
But Imp is getting really scary.
Yeah. It really comes down to the fights. I mean, CJ has a sizable turret lead, but they just seem to be struggling a little bit in the engages aside from that little pick just a moment ago. They will get the dragon. That's their first of the game.
Very good stuff from Blaze. They already had the vision control, and they turned that one kill into quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. And there we go. Just now cleaning up the vision around the Baron pit and just in general, and they are actually going for Baron. Look at that, Samsung Ozone starting Baron immediately. CJ is well aware of this, so the ball comes in. There's a solar flare. They come over the wall, but the shockwave comes in. Lost Boy safe for now. Mata jumping onto Daydream. Daydream who comes in. Ambition picks up the first kill. It's going to be one for LeBlanc, though. Now going in onto Emperor, gets destroyed immediately. Ambition manages to back out, create that zone, but CJ loses two. They do prevent the Baron from happening, though.
Well, Ozone didn't want to do Baron right there. What they wanted to do was to force a fight, and
they got it.
When they saw Flame in the bottom lane without teleport, that's exactly what they got. And CJ Blaze was really baited into that pretty hard. Ozone, they could have waited for quite a while, actually. It is a bit dangerous with Kha'Zix, Vayne, and Mundo, given the percent HP damage and the isolation damage, but they should not have been all stacked up right there either.
Yeah. Well, it burned Ambition's flash as well, which was not the greatest thing ever.
Lust Boy. Looks like his ult, something happened to his ult right there, but Emperor trying to kite this one out, but he's all alone, and they really should have just split up and been a little more threatening and waited for Flame, because they really gave Ozone the fight they wanted right there.
Pretty true.
Granted, there was a large Baron threat again because of the cleavers from Mundo and the Blade and Phantom Dancer from Vayne.
Yeah, you can't just let him sit there. You have to do something.
Well, yeah, but you have to just be patient until Flame can get there and then hit them while they've been all chunked down. You don't group up and wait for them to do that. At 25 minutes, they're still going to take a significant amount of damage from Baron, and probably at the very least have to burn Mundo's ultimate to tank it.
Yeah, not to mention Shockwave is going to be huge after the other team takes all that MR thread.
Yeah.
Or shred, rather.
Yeah. So still a close game, however, in spite of that. Samsung Ozone did take a little bit of an advantage, but as we move past 30 minutes, the scaling is going to become pretty darn terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Imp right now, he's got his Phantom Dancer, he's got his Blade, he's had it for a long time, so a lot of items there. Solar Flare just completely misses. Whoops.
Tried to read that one, thought they would go in. Now CJ Blaze may try and turn this around.
And we'll see. They're coming in. Flame doing a little bit of damage to Looper. And they will push up this mid lane a bit. All right, well, they could take out this pink ward in the brush, maybe. Yep, they'll get it. And Mata, no ultimate. It will come back very soon. On, coming over the wall, tries to do some damage to Ambition, but has to back away. And that ultimate for Mata getting ever closer. Imp coming in, though.
It's a lot of standoff. Dancing around the Baron. Nobody can really leave this area right now except for Looper. He does have the teleport, and that's where he should be. He should be putting some more pressure down onto the bottom lane at the moment and trying to force this Renekton back. They can really still be quite scary with the pick potential of Kha'Zix, LeBlanc, and Vayne with the hard CC of Leona as long as they can maintain vision. But Looper needs to start forcing them to split up at the moment. He's coming straight back to the mid lane. Bit of an interesting decision.
All right, well, Samsung wanting to stick together, wanting to win those team fights as a team and not have to worry about Looper, you know, teleporting in at the right time. But man, if there's any player in Korea where you don't really need to worry about their teleports, it's Looper. He's so good.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Do you think they're just really worried about the bursts that can happen? The, you know, catches, obviously the burst from Twitch, the CC, the burst from Ambition too. It's like, can you, maybe they're thinking they can't wait for Mundo to come in. They have to have him there right away.
No, I don't know why they're doing this, actually. It is a bit of an odd decision. It looks like bottom lane, if I can't really see it right now, but it would appear to be slowly pushing towards Blaze's base. So they may just be waiting for a timing right there. Looper just going to go ahead and clear out the top lane instead. But they need to create that pressure now. And the thing is, if they can put one person down into that bottom lane, Looper will just teleport and they can do the Baron nearly instantly.
Yep.
Let's try. They may start doing it, actually.
We'll see. No, just trying to get that pick. They see them taking out the pink ward. Oh boy, oh, they saw Danny, but here we go. The flash, he engages the solar flare into Ambition. Can they follow up? Pond trying to get in there, a little bit of damage for him. And Imp and Looper coming around the outside. Tidal Wave, not a big deal. Oh, they do get the Shockwave onto Looper. Imp gets chunked down, has to back off immediately. Do that spray and pray. Pond comes in, tries to get some damage done. He's very low. Pond will get the kill, though, onto Ambition. They get the kill onto Dandy instead as well. Oh. And Looper in the middle doing a lot of damage. A double kill, though, for Emperor and CJ turning this one around. Imp, though, coming in the back of the fight and really doing a ton of damage with the autos. Mata finally goes down to triple kill, though, for Emperor, and Imp just will not be enough. He's the only one left. It's kind of a weird situation here because Imp is so scary. He's sustained up on those minions.
And CJ Blaze is all trapped behind there. Emperor is trying to heal up off some of these wards.
He's doing
and they're going to chase Imp away now that they've got a little bit more sustain.
Well, Imp is sustaining his way up on the Wraiths as well, and he's going to be able to move back into the mid lane. That was a very bizarre situation. Imp nearly had enough health to go in 1v3 and legitimately have a good chance of winning that.
The problem is that they really need Mundo. It would have been better. He used his teleport right there, but they need to get him into a flanking position and on top of Twitch.
Yeah.
And Imp kind of came around with him, but that bought a lot of time for CJ Blaze to deal a ton of damage over onto Ozone. So a little bit of an awkward engage there from Blaze, or counter engage rather, Mata with the one flashing and hitting Ambition with the solar flare. And Pond did a really good job of playing the perimeter and actually landing the chains and finishing the channel onto Ambition, even in the middle of that team fight to pick up the kill.
Well, he's been really trying to get around the back of the team fights all game, and he's done a pretty good job of it overall. Last game was no exception.
I really want to see that team fight again, actually.
Yep, me too. Oh, Ambition trying to speed people up there, and no engage, not deciding to follow up.
Well, the problem is for Samsung Ozone is that their only form of engage is Leona. Yeah. That's it. They are relying on Leona in order to hit that ultimate so that they can actually follow up. But it's hard with the Nami too to counter engage. If you're not flanking in that situation, they'll just all be for waste basically. You'll just waste that solar flare and then not be able to actually do much of anything with it.
Oh, Samsung making a beeline for the Baron pit, trying to draw CJ up there. Will we see them just trade? And CJ, yeah, going into the mid lane. Looks like they're going to trade Baron for an inhibitor. Yeah, I mean, I think this inhibitor is much more valuable than Baron right now. Yeah, Mata already going back. Everyone trying to make it, but he can't do it. They're going to lose that inhibitor, and they may lose more than that. Here they go. They're going for the Nexus turret. Yeah, I think they got to turn around now. All right. Well, good trade, I think.
But they staggered the backs right now, so Samsung Ozone now moving over. They may get a flank attack. No, they know they're going through the red side jungle.
They're playing
and they're
going to
transition straight into a dragon, which at 32 minutes is actually worth a hefty amount of gold.
Yeah, and look at this, a lot of pressure on the top lane as well. So CJ Blaze, man, they got the inhibitor, they're getting a dragon, they've got a lot of pressure on top lane. Nice move overall, allowing that dragon to go through, or Baron to go through.
This has been one of the best games of this season, Doa. This
Absolutely.
Is very back and forth, very kind of blow for blow strategically.
Yeah, really well played by both teams.
Everybody doing a really good job generally of taking these cross-map objectives.
Well, I've got a feeling this match is going to be a little bit closer than their match a year ago, that's for sure.
I think that Blaze definitely playing a better style, and Ozone made a few mistakes this game, but they still got that lead. They still have that Baron, and we're in a very interesting situation where it's Baron buff versus inhibitor down. But in the long run, that inhibitor being open is going to be better for Blaze as long as they can wait out the Baron buff. Because if they can take that inhibitor down again, they'll be in a really good position to take the next Baron.
Right, exactly. And they can also spare a few people here and there to push the lanes up, and they don't need to fight. You know, they can wait out that Baron.
The great thing for CJ Blaze too is if they siege that inhibitor again, as long as they have their flanks warded, as soon as the solar flare comes in, they pop the tidal wave.
Yep.
And that's all the engage that Samsung has, and they should be able to poke that down as long as Emperor doesn't have terrible siege positioning again.
They've also got Lustboy's Talisman as well too, plus Saranduin, so it's going to be really hard for Ozone to really engage even if they do get a good solar flare.
It's pretty awkward actually, Samsung Ozone's inability to engage. Looper really needs to get a flank.
Yep. Definitely does. And I got to say, too, on that note, as far as flanks go from the top laners, CJ's done a good job of clearing out those wards and not leaving a lot of teleport opportunities for Looper out there.
Yeah, indeed. You can see Blaze playing pretty passively right now. They're very scared. Of course, they have no vision over the river. You see Dandy and Imp up in the top lane, but don't want to wander through a jungle alone, and that's why they're waiting, grouping up so they can start clearing. Once Flame is there, that little bit of extra tankiness to play in the vanguard position.
You never want to wander through the jungle alone. That's
No.
Very dangerous.
Not against Vayne, LeBlanc, and Kha'Zix.
No.
That's pretty much straight up suicide.
It's just a good rule of thumb in general, you know? Because then you're just going to be wandering and you're going to hear, do you know where you are?
You're the jungle baby.
You're the jungle baby. You're going to die. And then you do. You die. Well, CJ just doing what we said, just kind of waiting out the Baron. Waiting for Baron sounds like a new Wes Anderson film or something, right? Starring like Bill Murray, of course. Yep.
I love it.
Takes place in like some hotel in Turkey or something.
Grand Budapest Hotel was a good movie, though.
You know, I haven't seen it yet, actually. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest Wes Anderson fan, but it seems to be good stuff. Life Aquatic was good. I'll give him that.
All right, well, here's a 5-man push. Coming into the bottom lane. Should be pretty easy for CJ to hold.
Pawn doing a little bit of damage. Problem with Wes Anderson film, there's not enough giant robots. Dragons and swords and things. You know?
Maybe he will disappoint you less with his next movie.
A little bit more of that, and I'd be on board in a heartbeat, you know? Yeah.
I'm sure, well, you can write him a letter, Doa.
Well, we know he watches Champions, you know? He's a pretty cool guy. So of course he has to watch Champions. So, we wait. Baron buff should be nearly done. It is done, in fact, for Samsung Ozone. So CJ Blaze has their own jungle well warded. So they're pretty prepared to handle any sort of siege that comes in from Samsung Ozone at this point.
Yep. And inhibitor back up as well. So this is the point of reset, and this is the very important part of this game where we see what happens with the second Baron. So first one was a nice little trade. But this time around, CJ Blaze does have the edge in that naked inhibitor. They can go ahead and push out their lanes and siege that, force an awkward situation.
Yep.
And they're just going to give that farm over to Emperor. They have the cannon minion wave, so it should continue to push out. And here we go, 140 up until the Dragon. Samsung Ozone already on a mission to get some good wards down inside the jungle. Make sure that they can keep that pressure for the picks up.
Well, they definitely need those wards, but CJ doing a good job of clearing those out. And the standoff continues. I've got a feeling we're going to be waiting until the next Baron, although maybe we'll see some action pretty soon.
Something,
Juan was up in the top lane, so CJ is going to take an opportunity to push mid here while he comes down. A little bit of pressure on there. Mata coming in.
The thing that
get the solar flare.
That Samsung Ozone has done really well is they've actually sold all their Doran's items and have put a lot more pinks on the map. CJ Blaze has an unfortunate number of Doran's still on some of these champions like Flame and Ambition.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Oh, the flash send play does not hit. Flame pops his ultimate though, so they do get that. Now CJ trying to chase. They need to make something happen. The Flame gets condemned against wall. Pawn comes over there, gets hit by Emperor immediately. A little bit of damage. Onto Emperor. Imp dives way too far forward. Flame on top of him. There comes the tidal wave, and it's looking good for CJ. There's a kill already for Emperor. Looper on the run. They get the LeBlanc clone. Will they get the real thing here soon? LeBlanc has to flash away. Oh, there's the kill, though. Onto Flame. Whoa. A double kill for LeBlanc. What a play from Pawn.
Wow.
Crazy.
That was an insane LeBlanc play. Dude. Daydream flash forward, and then he actually W'd back into everybody to pick up the double kill.
Oh, there's no catching Pawn now. He's coming in. Ambition gets caught, though. There's a kill for Looper. And CJ.
That was a crazy outplay by Pawn.
Yeah. Well, this is why you just don't give him LeBlanc. You don't give him these big playmaking champions that he's so good on. And CJ gets a turret. Will they get more out of this? Long death timers. This could be an inhibitor.
Yeah, they were really not prepared for Pawn to take a risk and go right back into everybody. And by using those flashes offensively to try and kill him, they opened up an opportunity for Pawn to take out the back line. And now Ozone takes an inhibitor. I can't wait to see that play again. That was one of the best LeBlanc plays I have seen.
Yeah. I was worried about Samsung at the start of that one, man. I mean, Imp had Flame just all over him right at the beginning. Looked bad, but Pawn really turned that one around.
Imp gonna go and take the red buff as well. Ozone looking at the Dragon, and now with that little bit, this should be Ozone's game to take.
At this point, yeah, it's kind of looking that way. Baron is up again.
And here we go.
Okay, let's watch this one. That Zenith Blade not helping out.
No, and CJ Blaze was right to re-engage here after all the CC is gone. Flame gets hit by the Condemn. Now Pawn into the backline, goes on to Emperor, pops back out.
Well, Imp tried to tumble ahead to go after Emperor, and he got a face full of flame there.
With his W, yeah. So let's watch the pursuit on this. So basically it's going to be the ultimate coming back up again for Pawn after he got out of that one at very low HP. There's the flash from Daydream, and look at that. There's the W.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Wow.
What a great, that wasn't one of those plays that's great mechanically, but just the decision-making to go back in right there when you have this Lee Sin hot on your heels, knowing exactly which cooldowns he had up, and the fact that he wasn't going to be able to respond to that, and then popping out the other side was pretty awesome.
Big brain on that Pawn guy. He's more like a, like a rook or a bishop than a pawn, really, I would say. Definitely not a frontline piece.
Well, that kind of mobility, probably a queen, actually.
I guess so, but he seems to, he kind of move forward and back one way really rapidly. That strikes me as rook or bishop,
There you go.
I guess queens can do that too, but they can kind of move wherever they want, so.
Ambition. Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's going to be in a pretty good state. This is a very difficult Baron to hold on to, and again, I really can't say enough about this, but Flame and Ambition have held onto those Doran's items, and they need to buy pink wards right now. This is not the best decision. Looper, of course, has that teleport up, will be split pushing into the bot lane.
We'll see how it progresses. I mean, Flame is going to be pretty scary with that Thornmail. Against Vayne, anyway.
When we talk about Ozone, we usually talk about their superb vision control. And it's happening again this game, but here we go.
Dandy halting in, he gets a bit caught though. Looper, though, teleports in, he comes from behind, all over Emperor in the back lines. And they do manage to kick Dandy out. He's going to come right back over the wall, though. Oh, Ambition manages to help Emperor pick up the kill, though, but that doesn't stop Looper. He's still all over the team, but not enough damage being done. Imp with no good positioning, and there's a double kill for Emperor. So CJ turns this one around. Just a bit of a disjointed team fight, but whoa! Look at the damage from Pawn coming in. That is some serious poke, and now CJ backs off, and they're going to have to be satisfied going 1 for 2.
Yeah, that Void Staff, I mean, we look at Pawn's items right now, 610 AP with the DFG, and that's the power of this cooldown reduction build onto LeBlanc, is that you can poke so frequently with your W and get that AoE down. CJ Blaze has to be very conscious about grouping up in those kind of situations. Looper did get a good angle early, but actually it was the Lee Sin kick onto Dandy immediately after Kha'Zix landed that did a lot of favors, but Imp is so strong right now that Leona should be able just to tank this out.
Oh man, this Baron is dropping so fast, so it will be Baron number 2 for Samsung Ozone.
Yeah, they were very worried right there. They didn't even wait the additional 2 seconds for Dandy to come back up. They didn't want a possible steal from Daydream, knowing he was still alive.
Well, it's a good reason, too, because he nearly got there in time for that.
Yeah, it'll be only 3 Baron buffs onto Ozone, but that should be sufficient. Let's watch this one again. So Dandy coming in from the side right here. That's a good stun onto him, and so they're able to isolate Emperor. That's a good tidal wave as well. Prevents the follow-up from Pawn and Imp, which are the main problems coming in, and they're able to eliminate Dandy with that shockwave, and then just slowly, ever so slowly, kite this one out.
Well, now looking at that tidal wave, too, that was kind of the big turning point in the game because it prevented the damage from Samsung from really getting into the fight.
Well, it was just, wow, look at that damage. It was so well played because Daydream immediately fell back on the other side of the tidal wave. They isolated Dandy and Looper and were able just to get him down over time without really much damage at all coming out of Pawn and Imp. That was a very, very well played team fight by Blaze.
Yep. What a good game. What a great game to start the night off with.
Really fun to watch.
It's been too long, man. It's fun watching All-Stars and all that, but I'm glad Champions is back.
It's also rare to see a game with a lot of kills that is so even, and the decision-making has been pretty good across the board for both teams. It just happens that the team fights are what's dictating the course of this game. Everybody wanting to hit all of that AoE, and Samsung Ozone trying to create the picks on the periphery with Vayne and LeBlanc.
40 kills already this game. I'm fine with that. All right, well.
Oh, interesting. So Lustboy has gone for the Captain's Enchantment. They really want to kite. So that's going to help them out with that. They know as long as they can get away from Mata, they can just disengage and kite very efficiently, and that's going to be the way that they actually win this game.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Captain Enchantment will be helping quite a bit with that.
Well, the question is, I mean, Ozone has Baron again, right? So can they put on enough pressure to kind of make something happen out of it? Do they focus on the bot lane? Where do they put?
Well, I mean, they've got this naked inhibitor right now. They need to wait out the Baron buff, so we are in a bit of a holding position once again.
Well, I mean, where does Samsung kind of push, or do they have to kind of hold off?
They are going to have to hold off as well.
Yeah.
They need to be able to use that teleport to split, I think, right now.
Oh, that's true, yep. Still waiting on the cooldown for Looper. Of course, did teleport to a ward last time, so he doesn't get that 100-second discount.
100-second discount.
100-second discount. Discount double click. That's right.
Man, Flame still has that Doran's Blade. That just...
Who's creepier?
It's things like that that just make me really annoyed, though.
I can tell.
You buy the Vision Flame, get rid of the Doran's Blade. It's not doing anything 45 minutes into this game.
He's so angry. And we all know that Monte Cristo slaps players that he's angry at. Heard about that recently.
That wasn't supposed to get out, though.
That's right. We'll blame Afromoon. Here's the engage. Dandy takes a lot of damage. They're going to jump onto Looper. They get the Aqua Prism as well. Looper forced to flash away. Mata coming in. There's a Solar Flare. Slows some people down, but can they make something out of it? Flame pops his ultimate. This is not looking too good for Samsung. Ooh, Flame coming in from behind. Mata gets a bit caught. Imp doing some damage. Here we go. Dandy coming in now. There's the Tidal Wave. Makes Imp back off for the moment. Imp trying to get over the wall. Doesn't get to flash in, though. He's going to tumble his way into the base, and they're going to go after the inhibitor. They're going to get it, creating enough damage to make it work. Ooh, there's a nice poke from Pawn.
Now, they're not going to go after the inhibitor turret here in the bottom lane. Pulling back instead.
Yeah.
Using a couple of these sweeping lenses. I love the fact that Pawn picked up an Oracle's lens. He realizes he has enough damage, but he can be much more of a threat if he can clear out some vision and create a pick by himself. I think that's a really good buy.
Flame's got a lot of armor, but not a lot of MR right now. And there we go, just completely catching Daydream, but I guess not completely. Oh, meanwhile, Imp goes down, and now the counter engage comes in from CJ. Oh, but they do take out Daydream. Can they get a few more picks here? Looper getting a bit low, CJ chasing. There's the ultimate, though. Looper can run nearly all day on that Mundo, and he'll get up for now. A double kill for Pawn, using that huge damage, and Dandy coming in to try to get something gone on Ambition. They do take out Pawn. Plus Boy and Ambition now chasing. There's the whatever it's called from Dandy. GA, what the hell is wrong with me? Dandy finally goes down. The GA not helping too much. Looper, goodbye Looper.
Teleport.
Oh, he gets out. Plus 31. I know it was just hell, but still.
Yeah, Looper teleporting right there.
Yeah, Amada going for the 6 support duel. Ambition, you should not be fighting this. Ambition, a dishonorable warrior. You gotta let the supports do the 1v1, man. When you have that situation, it's Mortal Kombat time. You need to have the support duel.
Well, Ambition, well, what can we say? Not the most honorable of combatants, apparently.
No, I guess not. He's
take a look at what happened right here with Ambition. So, okay, so Imp just gets pulled back in, and then instantly blown up with the burst from Emperor.
He's had a couple moments where the positioning hasn't been the best this game.
Yeah, they do take out Daydream, but the follow-up. And Emperor plays this so well against Pawn, by the way. So look at him, actually, you know, he comes around from the side, and then he's actually just going to ambush and walk around the side, and he's preventing Pawn from coming back in and using the walls to his advantage with the W to continue poking. So that's how you have to play Twitch, is sneak around through those team fights and create the picks, surprise people. So that was a really good decision from Emperor that resulted in a big win, because if Pawn had been able to keep on just popping over the walls, Emperor would probably have died, and Pawn may have been able to clean up their entire team.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
50 seconds until Baron, Doa.
That's right, Baron number 3. Nearing 50 minutes for our first game tonight. Could be in for a long one. There's Dragon. Dandy deciding to pick that one up.
Yeah, it's interesting that Flame has left himself with just this Spectre's Cowl the entire time.
Yeah, really.
We've seen that Pawn has actually been able to blow him up. Oh my. Ozone has gone for 5 Oracle's lenses.
Wow.
They just swapped out for the rest of them. That is crazy. I have never seen this before, Doa.
Known for their vision control.
But if you think about it, this is what they need to do right now.
Yeah.
They need to create picks. They know that their burst is a lot higher, and if they can find somebody, also, like you were saying earlier in this game, with the Twitch everybody being able to pop the Oracle's lens in a team fight is actually a fantastic idea.
Yep.
So normally we would see, I'd say more, the blue trinkets are valuable in the late game, but in this specific situation, you really have to agree with Samsung Ozone. They've got the Kazakhs, the Vayne, and the LeBlanc, and they want to take care of that Twitch. 5 Oracles may be the ticket.
Well, CJ on the other side picking up a lot of Banshee's Veil now, which is really good against that poke from Pawn. It's going to be inconvenient to go through and try to pop all those before the fight starts.
Yeah, they got a lot of Void Spikes and Cleavers, though.
Yeah. So. Sure enough, but they have to land. That's the trick. Oh, there we go. Pawn doing a little bit more damage.
Missed.
Pawn, ooh, in a lot of trouble. Gets low, gets taken out. And now Looper trying to get to the back lines, but he's already solo. There's a Solar Flare. They use a Shockwave as well just to secure it. Mata in the back lines. Dandy trying to get some kills done, but Flame all the way on top of Imp gets condemned away, but Emperor is right there as well. Emperor gets the kill onto Imp. The damage way too high.
They're going to try and finish.
I think they can too, man. Everybody down. There's no way Dandy can 1v5 that. This is CJ Blaze's game.
Wow, so Blaze, they again played the engage really well, and Ozone, their lack of engage really hurt them in this game.
Oh, what a statement by CJ Blaze coming in here. A close game, but in the end doing what they couldn't do at all in the Champions Spring Finals last year, and that's win a game against Ozone, but they will do it at 50 minutes or so. In this game, Dandy trying to do what he can, trying to delay, but it's not going to be enough. There's the complete ace. And now CJ Blaze will finish off the Nexus. GG. Blaze takes game 1.
What a great game.
Awesome game. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, very close game throughout. CJ Blaze actually finishes it with a gold